Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 9, Text 29, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yat yujyate asu vasu karma manaha vacho bihi deha atma ja adishu nribhihi tat asat pritaktvat taihi eva sat bhavati yat kriyate apritaktvat sarvasya tat bhavati mula nishechanam yat. What's the meter? Someone can give it to me. Yad yujjate suvasu karma mano vachobhir. Dehatmajadishu nribhistadasat pritaktvat. Taireva sat bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat. Saravasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat. Yad yujjate suvasu karma mano vacho bhir. Dehatma jadishun ribhist tadasat pritaktvat. Taireva sad bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat. Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat.
Yadyujyate suvasu karma mano vachobhir.
Yadyujjate savasu karma mano vachobhir.
Dehatmajadishu nribhistadasat pritaktvat.
Dehatmajadishu nribhistadasat pritaktvat.
Taireva sad bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat.
Taireva sad bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat.
Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat.
Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat. Yadyujjate suvaso karma mano bhaktavya. Dehatma jadishu pritistadasat pritaktvat. Taireva sad bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat. Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat. Yadyujjate suvasu karma mano vachobhir. Dehatma jadishu nribhistadasat pritaktvat. Taireva sad bhavati yat kriyate pritaktvat. Sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishechanam yat. Yat whatever. Yujyate is performed. Asu, for the protection of one's life. Vasu, protection of wealth. Karma, activities. Manaha, by the acts of the mind. Vachobhihi, by the acts of words. Deha, Atma, Ja, Adishu, for the sake of one's personal body, or family, etc., with reference to the body. Nribhihi, by the human beings. Tat, that. Asat, impermanent, transient. Pritaktvat, because of separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Taihi, by the same activities. Eva, indeed. Sat, bhavati, becomes factual and permanent. Yet, which kriyate is performed. Apritaktvat, because of non-separation. Sarvasya, for everyone. Tat, bhavati, becomes beneficial. Mula, nishechanam, exactly like pouring water on the root of a tree. Yet, which in human society there are various activities performed for the protection of one's wealth and life by one's words, one's mind and one's actions, but they are all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. All these activities are baffled because of being separate from devotional service. But when the same activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Lord, the beneficial results are distributed to everyone, just as water poured on the root of a tree is distributed throughout the entire tree. Purport. This is the distinction between materialistic activities and activities performed in Krishna consciousness. The entire world is active, and this includes the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. However, all activities except those of the bhaktas, the devotees, end in bafflement and a waste of time and energy. Mokha sha mokha karamano mokha jnana vichetasaha. If one is not a devotee, his hopes, his activities, and his knowledge are all baffled. A non-devotee works for his personal sense gratification or for the sense gratification of his family, society, community, or nation. But because all such activities are separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are considered asat. The word asat means bad or temporary, and sat means permanent and good. Activities performed for the satisfaction of Krishna are permanent and good, but asat activity, although sometimes celebrated as philosophy, altruism, nationalism, thisism, or thatism, will never produce any permanent result, and is therefore all bad. Even a little work done in Krishna consciousness is a permanent asset and is all good because it is done for Krishna, the all-good Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is everyone's friend. Suhridang sarvabhutanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only enjoyer and proprietor of everything. Bhoktarang yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Therefore, any activity performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. As a result of such activities, the performer is immediately recognized. Nachatasman manushyeshu kaschin me priyakritamaha. Such a devotee, because of full knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is immediately transcendental, although he may superficially appear to be engaged in materialistic activities. The only distinction between materialistic activity and spiritual activity is that the material activity is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By spiritual activity, everyone factually benefits, whereas by materialistic activity, no one benefits, and instead one becomes entangled in the laws of karma. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 8th canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, entitled "The Lord Incarnates as Mohini Murti," Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurin Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Shreshtham Manamapi Shachiputra Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajamurupuring Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Prathita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Pandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Parikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Many important points in this verse and purport. Mula Nishechanam. This same word is used in a well-known verse. Yata Toror Mula Nishechanena Tribyanti Tatskanda Bhujopashaka Pranopaharach Chayatendriyanam Tataiva Sarvahanam Achyuteja. Two examples given. One is that by watering the root of a tree, all the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits, they're all nourished. Another is that by supplying food to the stomach, the whole body is nourished, all the different limbs, organs, circulatory systems, muscle, mass, and whatever else may be there is nourished. In the same way, if we direct our activities, offer our activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then everything else, or everyone else, everything else taken care of. Shraddha Shabde, Vishas Kahe, Sujira Nishchoy. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Krama Krita Hoy. Everything is complete. Faith in Krishna consciousness means the faith that by you don't have to do anything except serve Krishna. And also the idea is that Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushta. That if Krishna is satisfied, the whole world becomes satisfied. So there are many important points in this verse and in the purport. I'm going to pick up on the first point that's given here, and Srila Prabhupada is given in the translation. The translation could be, if you give this Sanskrit verse to 1,000 Sanskrit scholars who are expert in English also, they'll all translate it differently. At least the syntax will be different, the word order. So Srila Prabhupada has put first here that talking about protection of one's wealth and life by one's words, one's minds, and one's actions. They're all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. And then the verse goes on to say that if these activities are performed for Krishna, instead of performing these activities for one's body, then that is the perfection of life. So this point of protecting the body is very prominent at the present time. All of a sudden, the interest in politics, the interest in sport, the interest in social issues such as feminism and so on, that's all gone way to the back of people's mind, and the main thought and everything, I want to stay alive! Ah! Well, I can confidently say, coronavirus won't kill me. I will not be killed by coronavirus, guaranteed. Coronavirus cannot kill me because I am not the body. Can't touch me. 2 verses in Bhagavad Gita. Nothing material can affect. Nainang chindanti shastra. Okay, bring your swords, your bows and arrows. Can't do anything to the soul. Nainang chindanti shastrani. Nainang dahati pavakaha. Is it pavakaha or all different kinds of winds? You blow all the winds. You can't blow the soul. Then, nachainam kledeyantyapo, water cannot affect it. So the virus, it's water, the medium it travels in is water, is it not? It's water, it could be in fat or something else. So you don't have to worry, because the water can't touch the soul. The kledyantya, nachainam kledyantyapo na Shoshyati maruta. So that's similar, isn't it? It can't be dried up by the wind either. It can't be blown away by the wind. It can't be dried up by the wind. Then, achedyo yam. Cut it up into little pieces? Cannot. Adahyo yam. That means it can't be burned. Akledya shosha evacha. So it's repeating. Then, Nityang savagata stanor achalo yam sanatanaha. So I cannot be killed, and you cannot be killed. So what's all the fuss about? I am not the body. Simple example. My head, my hand, my forearm, my upper arm, my chest, my neck. Where am I? I have to go out like this, but then if you then you chop off the hand, do you still exist? If the body still exists, yeah, chop off the arm, chop off the leg, chop off the head. Chop off the head, then the person dies, don't they? So is the head the person? No. So I am separate from the body. I am not the head, I am not the leg, I am not the chemicals. I am eternal living being. Whether I get coronavirus or not, it's guaranteed that I won't die. It's also guaranteed that I will die. Depends on how we take the word I. If we take the I to mean the body, then Bhagavad Gita, right in the beginning of the Gita, right after the Matra Sparshas tu Konteya, Jatasya hi dhruva mritya, dhruvang janma mritasya cha. We must, dhruvang janma mritya, we must die. Jatasya hi dhruvam mritya, we must die. But on the other hand, najayate mriyate vakadachin. So what dies and what doesn't die? Here we have in this verse the term sat and asat. Therefore, Krishna says, na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. That which is sat will remain, that which is at sat will not remain. So guaranteed. I've got the guaranteed cure for, I am giving now guaranteed cure for coronavirus. Listen, everyone in the world, it's called Bhagavad Gita as it is. There you go. Well, the devotees, they'll also get it. It's a funny thing you say in English, the disease gets you, isn't it? You don't go running after it, it gets you. It's English language, funny thing. So a guarantee, what's the guarantee? There's nothing guaranteed in this world except jatasya hi dhruvam mritya, as sure as death. We're not independent. We can lock ourselves up, quarantine ourselves, social distancing, run away to some Easter island where there are no inhabitants, but even to get there you have to go in so many people. And there's nothing to eat there anyway. So there's no guarantee. Another thing we learn from Bhagavad Gita, we're not independent. Any verses you can think of? Actually, there are verses which give some sense of independence, and there are verses which give some sense of non-independence. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. One who thinks I am the sole doer is a mudha, a big fool. Others are the Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Junatishtati. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutanam. Brahmayan, he makes them. Ishvara makes everyone wander around the universe. Sarva Yantrarudhani Maya. Then a verse which gives some sense of limited independence. See if you can get this one. Yatechasita Takaru. Okay, yeah, that's good. I was thinking of another one, actually, in the 13th chapter. Krishna, as Paramatma, is the Upadeshtanumanta Bhat. He sees everything and he lets you do it to some extent. And then Maya Dhakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam Hetuna Nena Kunteya Jagat Viparivartate. So Bhagavad Gita gives us so much knowledge. One thing, we're not independent. We may be very powerful, famous, healthy, and succumb to coronavirus. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, etc., has succumbed, or at least has become infected by coronavirus. He's very powerful, healthy, I presume he was, famous. So there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee in this world that whatever we do, there's no cure for death. There's no cure for fate also. So that makes us think, everyone has to die, then we should think. We should start to think. People are so anxious to live. There have been so many very rich people. There have been so many very powerful people, so many very famous people, so many beautiful people. Who's heard of Mae West? None of you have heard of Mae West. She was very beautiful, very famous, so like that. So many beautiful people, powerful people, famous people, rich people, they're now all dead people. And the present rich, powerful, beautiful, etc. people will also be dead people before very long, coronavirus. Or not. And the wonderful thing is, ahani bhutani, gachanti hayamalayam, sheshas, tavara icchanti, kimascharyam, ataf param. So many people are dying all the time, and we're thinking, we're making our plans to live, how I can live, go on living. The most important thing for me right now is I have to stay alive. It's a foolish idea, because we're not going to stay alive anyway. Therefore, what should we do with our life? We should think tasyaiva heto prayateta ko vido talabhyate yat talabhyate brahmatam upriyadaha. Then the next line is talabhyate dukavadanyata sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ranghasa. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should not seek any kind of happiness that one can get or will get by wandering in the universe all the way up to Brahmaloka and all the way down to wherever all those rich, powerful, famous people are now. One should consider this human form of life is very valuable and utilize it properly and see the influence of time everywhere. We're carried by the influence of time, the subtle influence of time. The happiness, distress, we get everywhere in the universe. So instead of endeavoring for that, we should endeavor for that which is beyond the happiness and distress of this world. That's a very intelligent proposition, but most people aren't intelligent enough to think of that. Now, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't take precautions against this virus. We don't want our devotees to all pass away very soon because we have a lot of important service to do in Srila Prabhupada's mission, but we shouldn't be too afraid of dying also. We shouldn't be afraid of dying at all. It's easy to say that, of course, but actually we'll see how afraid we are or not. We may get notice, just like someone gets a terminal disease. Cancer used to be considered a terminal disease. But old age in itself is a warning that time is running out. So we may have time to prepare. Or it may be very sudden. Srila Prabhupada gave that example. That's in Krishna book. Like a person who is suddenly called out to die. Someone's just walking down the street, going to work. And all of a sudden, someone comes and stands in front of him with a gun and says, "Now I'm going to kill you." So it's like such a shock. We may become so afraid. We should prepare. If we have some warning. Old age in itself is a warning. I'm just thinking of our dear Ram Niranjan Prabhu, who just passed away in his home. He was just talking on the phone with his son about some family matter or business or whatever, and then he just passed away. So, was he thinking of Krishna at the time? Maybe not. That's why it's good to go to Vrindavan in the old age and just be there, because we may think that, well, when I'll die, all my friends will be around me chanting Hare Krishna, but there's no guarantee. You could be passing stool. I know someone who's passing stool, had a heart attack and died right there. So that's good advice for older people. Nowadays, right during this lockdown, you can't go to Vrindavan. But for older people, staying at home is very dangerous actually, because one becomes attached to Krishna. Out of habit I said attached to Krishna, but one becomes attached to Krishnetara. That word is there. Things other than Krishna. Actually, there's nothing separate from Krishna, but we perceive things as being separate from Krishna, and that perception can be the cause of is the cause of our bondage in material life. Now, of course, devotional service is never lost, and devotee is always protected by Krishna. But at the same time, why come back again? If Krishna's made such a nice arrangement, go to Vrindavan, lead a pure life there, because it's possible to get reborn even living in Vrindavan, at least one life. And of course there's no guarantee that even if one goes to stay in Vrindavan, one will die in Vrindavan, because the world is so strange that for some reason or other, on a whim, we may go outside and then just die outside. But we do the best we can to tyaktva dehang punarjanmana mameti, to go to Krishna, not to come back again to this material world. That is the real fear. We should, instead of being so afraid of the virus, well, we should be at one level, but the real fear is rebirth. The real fear is forgetting Krishna, getting born again. Yesterday was it yesterday or the day before that the Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe. How does that verse begin? Prapya punya kritam lokam ushitva shashvati sama Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe yoga brashto bhijayate. Someone who has fallen from the path of yoga after enjoying on the planets of the pious people for a long time, which is an immense waste of time if the real goal of life is to become Krishna conscious. Then he takes birth in a pious family so that he can continue his Krishna consciousness. And that happens automatically. Srila Prabhupada uses that word in the translation. That happens automatically. Tatratang buddhi samyogam dabbhate paurvadehikam. The consciousness of his previous lives awakens. Yatate chattato bhuya sangsidho kurunandara. I remembered it myself this time. You can sit a little bit this way. Then he automatically revives the consciousness of his previous life and goes on to full perfection. But it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. One may also become involved in non-devotional activities or non-spiritual activities. It's a general case is given, but it's not. There's no guarantee. So better to be really fixed on going back home, back to Godhead in this life, rather than hanging around in this material world and thinking, well, Krishna will look after me. Krishna will protect. Krishna protects his devotees because they surrender to him. If we don't surrender and think, well, anyway, I chanted Hare Krishna a few years ago, so Krishna should look after me. That casual attitude to Krishna, then we get yayatamang prapadyante tangs tathaiva bhajamiham. We don't take Krishna very seriously. Krishna is not obliged to take us very seriously. So we shouldn't be so afraid of dying, accept the inevitable. If it happens, it will happen sooner or later. And really concentrate on Krishna consciousness. Devotees are in a much better position to face the threat of the corona virus because of this knowledge. Knowledge gives liberation. Knowledge gives strength. That we should not be afraid of death. People are saying that nothing will be the same after the coronavirus, that the whole structure of world society will change, the big corporations, globalism, that's even democracy that may all get shaken, the whole world will change. Hopefully the scepter of death may awaken a widespread realization of the fragility of life. Kamala dala jala jibana talamala, that we're just like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. We can fall down any time. Hopefully it may do that. Maybe more people will be interested in village life. All of a sudden, people became so much more interested in village life. Oh, what am I doing in the city? I should be in the village. In the village, you don't have crowds of people, so you're safer. And the virus is concentrated in the city, so it would be better to be in the country. And you get food there, whereas in the city, it's difficult even to get food during the lockdown, and you don't have the food. Someone might have coughed on it or something. So they may be more interested in village life, not from the point of view of simple living and high thinking, but from the point of view of simply living, just staying alive. That's all. And that's the first thing. If we're going to practice Krishna consciousness, the first thing is it's helpful to be alive. Sharira madhyam kalu dharma sadhanam. We need a body to practice dharma. But anyway, after some time, the whole virus fear will die down. It will recede very quickly into people's memory, and then they'll become largely forgotten, and the whole business of building big buildings and building big businesses and building big empires and having big sports stadia, it'll all go on again. People will forget. Just over 100 years ago, the Spanish flu, as it was called, not that it had anything in particular to do with Spain, but they got the blame. The Chinese are getting the blame this time. So that ravaged the world and killed millions of people all over the world. And the 1920s in the Western world are known as the Roaring Twenties, because people were the economy picked up, and then people were into dancing with jazz music and women showing off their legs a little bit and having a lot of fun. It was the days of prohibition in America. Alcohol sale was illegal, and maybe as a result of that, there was more alcohol being drunk than any time previously, and it was roaring. Everyone was having fun, great fun, and it all ended. That came to an end in 1929 with the stock market crash, and then. But the point I'm making is that there was a devastation throughout the world. So many people died of this flu in 1918 and 1919, and starting from 1920, they're just okay. Let's enjoy. Maybe they're thinking like we don't have much time to live, therefore we should enjoy ourselves as much as we can. Goat's philosophy. I haven't seen it personally. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that goats, when they're taken for slaughter, they'll see one after another their head being chopped off in front of them, or head chopped off. Why do they chop their head off? They could just cut the throat. I don't know. With rams, they cut the throat. Oh, that's especially in the temples, isn't it? Where the Kali temples, they chop their head off the goat. So anyway, they kill the goat, and all the goats can see, one by one they're going, and they only have a short time to live. They don't pray to God or become philosophical. What do? They have sex. Only a short time left. What am I going to do in the last few minutes of my life? Have sex. So it could be that people become more materialistic. There's no guarantee that afterwards, after all this thing settles down, that people will become more philosophical and more inclined to spiritual life. What we do know is that it will settle down in due course of time, and then there'll be something else, some big war, and that can go on simultaneously also, just like in Croatia. They're already suffering from the lockdown for the coronavirus. All of a sudden there's a big earthquake, so everyone's told to stay inside their house, and then everyone has to come outside their house. They got both things at once, and that Spanish flu struck in 1918, right at the end of the First World War, when the First World War was still going on. So, in England, there's a saying, it never rains but it pours. In other words, you may just want a little rain, but when it rains, it just comes down very heavily, unwanted so much. So things will get better and they'll get worse. And they'll get better and they'll get worse. And they'll get better and they'll get worse. And in the end the whole universe will be destroyed. What to speak of, we're thinking about the end of civilization. What to speak of the end of civilization. Then another one will come and then it'll get destroyed. Well, what to speak of, even civilizations on this tiny little planet stuck out somewhere. If you believe it's a planet, there's discussion about that also. Whatever it is, this earth, whatever it is, it's not very big. Tiny in comparison to the universe. There's only one universe, there's so many universes, and ultimately, bhutva praliyate, come into being, and everything is destroyed in course of time. We're so concerned. My life. Oh, my life is so important. When we're walking, we step on so many ants we don't notice. For the ant, it's a big thing to get killed. We don't care at all. We should do, but we don't. So like that, what is our existence? Are we really much greater than the ant? In the ant's estimation, he's much more important than you are. Think philosophically. Philosophically means according to the knowledge received in Gita and Bhagavatam. So there was a very good chance with this lockdown going on, we're not allowed to go here and there. We can utilize this time well to study Gita, Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's books, learn more shlokas, do extra chanting. We often hear devotees say, well, I don't get enough time to read. Well, most of the devotees, they're going out into the city, going out into the wider state every day. They go down traveling, book distribution parties. Now's your chance. Don't waste this time. Spacing out, as they say. Utilize this time for hearing and chanting about Krishna. Those who are going out and preaching and meeting people, you have so many contacts, so you can phone them up and encourage them to read the books. You have so many sets of Bhagavatams have been distributed, so phone them up, encourage them to read the books, preach to them. It's a good time for encouraging people who are piously inclined, the people who take the books, they're piously inclined, then they are good candidates for preaching to, especially at a time like this when people have more time and hopefully they might become somewhat introspective. Interesting that Murari Gupta wrote in a letter. Maybe you all know him. He was here, how long ago? 2.5 months ago, something like that, with his family. Murari Gupta from Croatia. He and his wife are both doctors. Being a doctor is about the worst thing that he wrote in a letter to me. Normally people respect very much the doctors, but right now if anyone says you're a doctor, they run away from you because they think he must be infected. And it's a very serious situation for him because both he and his wife are supposed to be on full-time call because of this virus outbreak, but then they have 2 kids. So if they both die, that's their worry. So, just see, some people suffer more than others during all this. Our thoughts are with Murari Gupta.